This video was published by mbkpinternational.com. In this video, we're going to talk about adjusting the sensor for the blade. It's the blade position sensor. It tells the blade where the start and stop and the up and down position. And if you replace your transmission, you would be picking up this video next to put this sensor back in place. Okay, on our old transmission that we replaced, this had broke off. It went in here and it broke off. So, and we couldn't retract the old one out, so we had to replace the transmission. If you got your old one, if you replace your transmission and you took this out and it's still good, you could just took this out and you can just screw it back in, and it would be very close. And then you can just do the fine tuning on it. If you put a new transmission on, you're going to need to put this long hex bolt in there. It's got a hex fitting in there. I believe it's 3 millimeters. I'll have to double check that though. But you'd screw that in and you'd put these paddles on it to go between that sensor. And right now I'm gonna take the paddles off this broken screw and put it on this one. And we'll go ahead and pause the video right now. Okay, I went ahead and I just basically put these on here, and I did the distance between the two, the gap between it, the same as the middle of this and the middle of that, and you can kind of line it up like that just to see. I haven't tightened these down yet, where they go right into the middle of those two right there. Once you get everything lined up, they may spin because I haven't really tightened them down too hard, because we still need to put this and screw this in here. So you see one's loose. I didn't really tighten them down that much. Let's see, I think it's a 3, but let me double check on this. It could be a 2.5 millimeter. I think it's 2.5. So looks like a 2.5 millimeter on this one here. Okay, that's kind of about where I wanted approximately. And we're going to go ahead and put this bracket on here. You should have 2 screw holes there for the core. Usually these are Phillips, but yours could be hex. We're going to leave it fairly loose because we're going to want to slide this in and out here. I'm going to see if I got it close here right now. It looks like it's pretty close. You can come up over the top here, Mike, where I'm at. See, that first one, it needs to go in a little bit maybe. But I'll get a little closer. And you get it close by either going in more with this, and it looks like I do. I'm going to tighten this down as good as I can here. See if it'll tighten down on me with this nut will spin. It's going to tighten down, looks like. Okay. So that's nice and tight. So we're going to come around on this, and then we're going to try to line this one up to there. It looks about right. You're just trying to line these paddles up to where they're going to, when everything's tight, the paddles are going to go right between the center of this. And you can actually bend these paddles a little bit if you need to. That's not gonna. Let's go ahead and pause it. Let's get this thing in a better position so you can see. Okay, I went ahead and put the paper push here all the way to the back to get it out of our way. It's kind of in our way here. And come over the top of this and you can see this here. And see, we're just trying to get this. I'll go to the other side. Just trying to get this to be right in the center there, and this one right in the center of this one here. Now we'll adjust this in and out later, but as far as these paddles, it's a little bit towards that end, so I can screw that one in a little bit and then tighten it down to get it more towards the center, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So this turn that a couple times, and then tighten it down here. Let's see, now you can look at it now. It looks pretty close to the center. And we had them about the right distance apart, so this one should be close to it. And you can kind of look at it this way. Come over here. you can kind of look at this, and you can kind of go down, go back up just a little bit. I didn't want too close. You can kind of just like eyeball it straight down this, and you can see that it's going to go straight into the center of this thing too on that one. So right now what I'm going to do is we're going to be tightening this down here, but we're going to need to slide this forward a little bit and then tighten it down. And see, this is one thing I didn't account for. Let me show you. When I tightened it down, it pulled it closer to it, and you can see now it's at the edge of it there, so it needs to go in more. And instead, this one's as far as it's going to go, so it's going to be right up against the edge here. And what you can do is you can bend these. Sometimes it's easier just to bend them a little bit like that, and bend this a little bit like that. Once you get close to where you're at, I'm going to go ahead and move this in a little closer, but that one can't go any closer because that nut's, it won't allow it to go closer. So you either got to bend it a little bit, or you're going to have to like put some spacer washers behind this to pull it out, behind this bracket, to pull this bracket outwards. But right now I'm just going to leave it like this. Is pretty close. Okay, you can see how you adjust it. I'm going to go ahead and adjust it now. We're going to pause it and I'm going to adjust it perfectly. Okay, as you can see, I got it kind of the way I want it, going through the center and only about 2/3 of the way forward. You don't want it to the end where it would hit the black out the end, so you want it backed up just a little bit. And that's the way I got it. And basically, the start of it, we're just going to have them one going that way and one going that way. And we're just going to do a cut. When he does a cut, let's do a cut, and I'm going to show him the rotation of this, Mike. Do a cut. This paddle here will come around, and it will stop and close between, and that will go back. So when you're doing a cut, it goes clockwise, and when it comes back in reverse, it will go counterclockwise. So one more time, let me show you that this closer, not yet, Mike, this closer in one here, it's going to come around, and it's going to go in there, and that's when it tells it to stop in the down position. And then and when that happens, this one's going to go down and around here, and when it comes back in reverse, this tells it to stop in the up position. So let's do one more cut. Go again. Goes around. That one tells it to stop in the down. This comes back around, tells it to stop on the way back up. Now we'll see where we're at here. Go ahead and do a cut. You see it goes down and around too much, and it doesn't go back up high enough. And one thing I did, and you're going to want to do, is take your cut pad out. You can take this table off. It may have been off from your previous video, and you can take your cut pad out. You may have to loosen these 5mm hexes. There's 4 of them. Just loosen them like a half turn each, and you should have enough to pry the cut pad out. You don't want to loosen too much in this to drop down, so just loosen maybe a half turn each on each, and then you should be able to pry the cut pad out and get it out of there. Just be careful with your blade that you don't cut yourself. So basically, the blade is going too far down and not far up, not far enough up. So if it's going too far, this is the down one here, the one closest in. So it's coming down, it's going too far. So I need to move it clockwise to where it gets closer to this sensor. So when it turns, it doesn't go too far. Okay, so we're going to get this and we're going to move it up. And this would be for if you need to adjust it too. And it would be minor ones for you. This one I need to do a fairly decent turn, like maybe an 1/8 of a, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 degrees up. Basically the blade's going too far. So it's taking too long for this paddle to get to the sensor. So the paddle needs to get to the sensor quicker. So we need to move it closer to the sensor. And this is the one going down. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to move that closer to the sensor. Come over here and hold this, Mike. And all you're going to do here is you're going to loosen it on this one. And just move it closer to the sensor. And then tighten it down. And you can see some of these other paddles will move while you're doing that, but I'm concentrating on this one right now. So we're going to go, and now this is closer to sensor, so it's going to stop sooner. And we'll do it, and we'll do a test cut, and I'll show you. It won't go quite as far. I might not have did it enough, but see, that's getting pretty close. But one thing I want to show you here, it went down to the bottom, but that's too far. Do another cut. Basically, when this goes down, you don't want this. Hold on, Mike, my arm's in there. This will come around, and this thing here, you can go by this. This part on the gear. You don't want it straight down or past straight down. You want it about right there. Let's go. Show them. It's going to go too far. It's going to go down, straight down, and a little bit past straight down. So it's still going too far. We're going to pause this, and I'm going to adjust it a little more. Okay, we're a lot closer now. Let's do another cut. It goes goes down now. It doesn't go quite as far. It goes pretty much close. I want to do a little bit more. So I'm going to come back here. I want it to stop just a little sooner. So I'm just going to move this back up so it's not blurry. There, and I'm just going to move this, and I'm going to get it a little bit more there, just like that. So that paddle moved a little bit more, so it's going to sense it just a little sooner. And we'll go here. And that's about right. Try one more time. Let me see it without looking through the camera. Maybe just a tad more still. I want just a tad more. So, again, I'm going to... Okay. Let's try that. Okay, that's about the right angle you want with that thing about down like that. It goes down, doesn't go all the way straight down. I'm going to go and pause it, and we're going to adjust the other one here. Okay, we got the down. Let's do one more. I'm going to show you the down position again. It goes all the way down. That right there, and back up. And I'm going off this gear. This piece on this gear, this long straight piece. I want the angle to be not straight down, but over to here, about somewhere about right there. Right there. Anyway, we're going to go, you see it's not going all the way up either. When it goes all the way up, it comes to just a slight angle this way. I'm sorry. This post comes back and it comes to a slight angle about over here. And it's not coming up all the way. So go down one more cut. And it's not coming up high enough. It needs to go a little further. And we'll show a cut here. One more time, Mike. Do another cut, Mike. And watch this paddle here. This is the one on the way up. It's down, it comes, and it basically senses it too soon, so we need to back it up so it takes longer to get to it. And I'm going to pause it, and we're going to do that. Okay, we want to back this up. Remember, because it goes down. When it comes back, it gets to this too soon. It senses it too soon, so we're going to drop this down to where it takes longer to get to it. We're going to try that. Okay, and we're going to come do a cut. Let's do a cut. And that's pretty good. You basically want this at around 12:30, 1 o'clock at most. And let's go down, and I think you want that around 5 o'clock. That didn't count. We're going to do it again. It's around 5 o'clock, and it comes back to around 12:31. One more time, show them. Around 5 o'clock on that gear, 12:31, and that's what we got at here. And you can see the angle of these pads a little bit here. It could be very different on yours, though. That's not. So we're gonna have to do just check it a little closer, because it may need to come down just a little bit. It may look like it was. This one may need to come down just a little bit. It's usually not that high. We'll go there with it. And we'll do a cut. And the cut. And that's pretty close. And when you're doing this, you can lower this if you want it to cut deeper. Okay, I'll go ahead and pause this for a second while I check it out one more time. Hold on. I'm going to show you one more time. I was mistaken. It's not 5 o'clock. I don't know why I'm saying that. It's actually 7 o'clock. This basically, if this was your the hand, you know what I mean, of your clock, it's going to go down to around the 7 o'clock. Go ahead. That's where you want it. About 7 o'clock. You want to come back up to close to 1 o'clock, 12:31, somewhere in that area. Okay, one more time. It's at 12:31. And that's around 5 o'clock. And that would be about perfect on your cuts. I'm going to do this one more time. I was told I think I might have said 5 o'clock again. It's 7, go down. It's 7 o'clock. I apologize. 7 o'clock and about 12:31. That's what you want it on a cut. 7 o'clock when it goes down. And around 12:31 when it comes back up. And that's how you want it. And I'm going to come back here. He's going to do another cut. And I'm going to show you, don't do it yet. This paddle is going right between the middle of it, but it's not to the end of that to where it would hit it. And we're going to watch this one come around. It's going to go in between there, but it's not to the end where it would hit that or get close to those metal prongs. If it gets too close to those metal prongs, it could arc. So go ahead. One more time. You can see there's a space between where it's not going to come out. And that's it. You just got to make sure they're tight. You know, hold this. We'll come back here for a second. You're going to need, let me pause it for a second while I find my wrenches. Now you may need to hold one here or hold it with the needle, whatever you can find. And just to make sure these are tight, and hopefully they don't move on you when you're trying to make sure that they're both tight. And this one here would be, you only have to go this way with it. But sometimes if you tighten it, it will move on you, so you may have to push down and kind of counter it. Make sure it doesn't move, because if it moves, then you're just got to make sure they're in the position they need to be, and they're all tight where they're not going to spin or come loose. If you want, you can put a little thread lock on these things. Once you get it, you can just put it on. It'll soak its way into those things. Once you get it to where you want it. That's basically it. You're basically looking for it to go in the center of these. And you're basically going to have to manipulate these paddles to this is the down one where it stops on the way down. This is where it stops on the way up. You manipulate those paddles to where you get it perfect. Like I said, 7 o'clock on that gear, and about down there somewhere. And this comes back up to around 12:30 or 1, if that was the hand on a clock. And that's basically it. You can put your cut pad in now and do a test cut if you need it to. Put it all back together. You should, if you don't know how to put it back together, you can look at the video on replacing the transmission or motor, and it showed how to take it apart. You can just put it back together. Just when you're putting your screws back in, just get them all started first before you snug them all down. They should go in easy start, and then you can snug them all down once they're all in. On these back tables, you're going to need to move this paper push forward to the 6 or 7 inch mark to get the back tables back in. If your crown's off and you can't do that, just unplug your cutter, and you can move this by hand like this. Look at the paper push, you can see it moving. Okay, so this is only when it's unplugged you can do this. So you can move that forward to around the 6 inch mark or so, and then you can put your tables in. When it's back like that, you can't get the tables under it. You got to get about right to here, and then you can get the tables under it and get them in place. And on this here, you got these paddles moving around, so you want to make sure that like any wires aren't hanging down here where they can get caught up in this. So with this, you need to kind of put it. Also, you got the gear there. Make sure this doesn't get any close to the gear. I'm going to go ahead and put a stick square right about here, and I'm going to zip tie this to make sure it doesn't get into those paddles or into the gear, like so. And just gotta make sure on these, I'm gonna stick square this here. If your wires are loose, you gotta make sure this ain't anywhere like, you wouldn't want it right there where it can get in those paddles. You want to keep it out of the way of those paddles as much as possible. You can get another stick square here or something to keep it out of the way. However you need to do it to keep these wires out of the way of the paddles or that gear there. And that's basically it. This video was published by mbkpinternational.com.